Don't love us, no they don't love us. They don't love us, no they don't love us. They don't love us, no they don't love us. They don't love us. Somebody tell them wake up, wake up, wake up. Somebody tell them.
We showing you the powers of the devil. This was the power that he had over us to destroy us. Medicine is one of those powers. We saw that in the eugenics tree, right? Give me the next one. Started from the beginning.
We will see large numbers of poor people, and specifically blacks, going to jail and to prison, and they will not have a chance.
In the early 1980s, the nation's slogan was clear.
Just say no.
Crack now has spread to almost every American city.
But what if I told you that there was more to the crack era than what the white mainstream news media let on? And that it went beyond black and Latinx folks who simply needed to kick a drug habit. Today's baggage, how the war on drugs ravaged Black America. Once upon a time, in a not so far away and familiar place, the United States entered what became known as the crack era. During the early 1980s, a new drug somehow infiltrated low-income black and brown communities, causing crime and chaos. It was called
crack cocaine.
The problem is crack cocaine.
Crack cocaine may deny these black children a decent future.
Well, it turns out that your uncle, who always talks about the man, was right. Well, sort of. While crack did absolutely ravage some black and brown communities, it wasn't that simple. The United States government and agents of the state were corrupt and had a hand in creating this dark time in America's history. Misinformation about crack cocaine and its users flooded airwaves and proved to be just as dangerous as the substance itself. Decades after the crack era has come and gone, its impact lives on. But before we fall any deeper into this rabbit hole, let's take it back to the beginning of this war on drugs, which is often dubbed America's longest war in history.
Please search for it!
The federal government first banned the recreational use of a substance, opium, in the early 1900s. Then came the Prohibition era, which focused on alcohol. Shortly after, the feds began to track and vilify people who struggled with addiction, especially if they were black. Fast forward to 1971, when Richard Nixon declared war.
America's public enemy number one is drug abuse.
2 presidents later, Ronald Reagan not only carried on, but weaponized this anti-drug stance.
Drugs are menacing our society.
Though Reagan was the first president who promised to
Make America great again.
but rather he made things worse for low-income communities. In fact, at the time, the poverty rate grew faster in the first 3 years of Reagan's presidency than in any other time since the 1950s. Meanwhile, in another part of the world, the United States was funding an illegal war in Nicaragua, and drug smugglers were sending cocaine to the US on US planes. Somehow, the United States officials had no clue.
Whether the United States actually loaded up the planes with cocaine, or whether they just kind of turned their backs, right, and let the planes take off and go to the United States and land, the United States knew that at the very least that cocaine was being flown in and just ignored it.
Stanley Nelson is an award-winning documentary filmmaker, MacArthur genius, and director of Crack, Cocaine, Corruption, and Conspiracy. He says that this rampant poverty and international scandal, which caused cocaine to flood the United States, was the backdrop in which the crack era took off.
The crack era seemed to come out of nowhere, somewhere in the early 80s. All of a sudden, everywhere in Harlem, people would be out on the street selling and using crack. Not only in Harlem, I remember, I was walking across 42nd Street and people were in doorways smoking crack.
In his film, Nelson walks viewers through various phases of the crack epidemic.
At first, we saw it in the African American Latinx communities. Then, we're like, oh my God, there's an epidemic. The politicians weren't talking about it. The media wasn't talking about it. The police were not stopping it. That's a big part of it.
Some dirty cops took money from drug dealers, or they took drug money themselves.
What would you steal? Money and drugs and guns, whatever was it.
And somehow this fact was left out of the media. Wonder why? And then there was a shift.
A local success story took a tragic turn this morning.
Maryland basketball star Len Bias died after overdosing on cocaine 2 days after he was drafted to the Boston Celtics.
It was like a political wet dream, because now all, politicians, Democrats, Republicans, everybody was talking about the scourge of crack and the evil dealers who are dealing crack. It was crazily overblown.
And from the era emerged some dangerous myths about black people.
First of all, there was the crackhead, just had given up their lives to crack and, would do anything for crack. Then there was a crack mama. That was, basically black women. This woman sold her baby for crack.
And an equally damaging falsehood, the crack baby.
Despite all the warnings, a growing number of babies are being born already addicted to cocaine.
They'll spend the rest of their lives suffering for the lifestyle of their mothers.
What would you do about pregnant women who use drugs and pass those drugs on to their babies?
The media played a huge part in making the public feel that crack was really the real threat and that treatment wasn't the answer, but jail.
And the federal government...
So we always talk about 1969, and that's when, Alva Bivens and these men, they were starting to teach we the Israelites. You had, Martin Luther King passed, you had Malcolm X passed away, and then right after that time period, then you had the crack epidemic, and how bad it got. And then they used it for two different reasons. One, to kill us, another three reasons. One, to kill us, one, to incarcerate us, and another to push stereotypes about us. The crack baby, the crack mama, your mama spoke crack rock. People were getting made fun of in school. People were getting robbed. Drug dealers were terrorizing the community. That destroyed our community, y'all. Who had the power to do that? The U.S. government was doing this.
Right.
It's a known fact. And then a nigga gonna tell me that the white man getting the kingdom of heaven. I still don't understand this.
Huh?
He done oppressed and lied and destroyed and murdered and pushed falsehoods about our people. He created the Negro in a lab. He created the drug dealer in a lab. He created the crackhead in a lab. He did that. That's the power, and he got the power to do it, and can't none of you niggas say nothing. I can do it, and can't none of y'all say nothing. Matter of fact, if you bring it up, I'm gonna say you're racist. If you bring up what my ancestors did, I'm gonna say you're racist. Come on, man. I'm not my ancestors, but you benefit off of them. The correctional officers, they benefit off of them.
Right.
The DA, they benefit off of this. The judges, they benefit off of this. All of these people that are connected, they benefit off of this, y'all. So I'm telling you, give me Psalm 64, verse 4.
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you, that's power. I can paint any picture of you that I want, and I'll get you hooked on drugs. So if you do say that it's me doing it, I can say, well, I ain't make you smoke it. I didn't make you sell it.
Right.
But I'm gonna put you in such extreme poverty conditions and then flood it into your community because you're so and your mind is so gone based off your oppression that you're looking for some type of solace or some type of release that you'll fall into drugs. Damn. And that destroyed our fathers and our uncles and our grandfathers. Read that for me.
The book of Psalms, chapter 64 and verse 4.
Read it out.
That they may shoot in secret at the perfect.
They shoot in secret at the perfect. That's a secret thing that they was doing. Bringing in drugs from Nicaragua. The Most High just revealed it.
Right.
But we didn't know that while it was going on. Come on, man. This is history. Read.
Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not.
And they don't not fear God. They act like there is no God. Go ahead.
They encourage themselves in an evil matter.
And they encourage themselves, say, we just locking up criminals. But you made the criminals. You put it in that community knowing it would destroy them. That's why it says what? Read again.
They encourage themselves in an evil matter.
And they encourage themselves in that evil matter. So I ain't did nothing wrong. I'm just out here just busting drug dealers. That's what some of these police officers, that's how they speak. These special unit police officers that are narcotics, they hate black people. They hate us. I'm telling you. And what do? They say, we just busting drug dealers and getting them off the streets. But how do drugs get in the community? Under the greatest country on earth, the country that we saw, I think a couple of months ago, we watched a video where America spent almost $100 billion on their military every year.
Right.
So I spent $100 billion on the military every year, but somehow drugs get flown into the country, and I don't know nothing about it.
The neighborhood, all right one day, then the next day you wake up, crack.
Donald Trump pressed a button and killed Soleimani in Iran. But somehow a plane with an American flag on the side of it bring drugs in. Don't nobody know. I don't know how that happened. I'm just trying to figure it out. Come on. That's what the Bible say when it say they do what? They encourage what?
They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily.
They lay snares privily. That's a snare. The drug epidemic, the crack epidemic, that was a snare. And we still snaring into this day. We still struggling. You got people that's depressed. I work with people, they depressed, they down, they like, and you dig into their life a little bit and find out, mama on drugs.
Yep.
She hated him. Yep. Now he homosexual because he hate women. You understand? Yes. He hate women and he finds solace and want to be with another man. Same with the daughter. Little girl, she raped by her crackhead uncle. Now she grow up, she a hoe. She on a stripper pole, twerking. And you say, how'd she get to that? I seen a little baby picture. She was a sweet little girl. How'd she get to that? What happened? The crack epidemic. It's still, and then ain't nobody went to jail for it. Ronald Reagan dead, ain't he?
Dead and gone.
Ain't Richard Nixon dead?
Dead and gone.
They ain't had something for this. They left that behind. Come on. Keep reading.
They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search.
Go ahead.
Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep.
Bro, the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. They already had it planned. They knew what they were doing. And that's how they was able to propagandize us. Put this propaganda in about us. That's how, man, the Most High cold. Most High said, look, I'm going to make you a byword and a proverb amongst the heathen. How you do it? They put that crack in our community. Now we all supposedly crackheads, thugs, and criminals. Man, the Most High word always gonna reign true. You got something you want to say? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. It's crazy, Cap, because they put the poison in our hood. It destroys us. It kills us off, right? Then the men go to prison, which in turn makes them more money. Then you can't pass the drug test, so you don't have a job. So you come right back to what you just left again.
Right.
They put a cycle in place, but then they give you no way out, because when the crack epidemic hit, there wasn't no health crisis, wasn't no rehab going on. But when the opioids start hitting they children, they popping these pills. Oh, it's a health crisis. We got to send them to rehab. They need help now.
They know exactly what they're doing.
Yes, sir.
That's a well thought out plan, bro. That's a diligent search.
Yes, sir.
That's deep thought, deep meditation, think tank deep, as Bishop Yawasat would say.
Right.
Think tank deep. They sit around and think about that thing.
Hey, Dave Chappelle made a joke one time. He said he finally know how so-called white people feel. Well, no. He said he now see how white people felt, how black people were going through all the crack epidemic. He now see how they feel when he see, like Officer John was saying, the Edomites going through it. Dave Chappelle said, I finally see how they feel about it. Because I don't care about it either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even though he didn't say it like that. But
I know what you mean.
main way he was saying, like, when we was going through that drug epidemic, like
they wasn't there for
they
us.
didn't care.
Nope.
You know,
they didn't fight for us.
Right.
You know, what was Nancy Reagan said, what'd she say? Just say no.
The DARE program.
Right, the DARE program. We had DARE officers.
Right.
It'd be an officer just on campus just to make sure drugs weren't on campus. Right. That was all propaganda. They capitalized off this so many ways, bro.
Right.
They made so much money off of this. That's power, man. And now the same things they put in place then is still funding their children now.
Yes.
That's why they'll say, look, you ain't got to work. Don't go out and try to do your own thing. Follow what I'm telling you. I got a master plan for you. Just follow me. Right. That's the power of the devil right there.
Because if you got like you had like big time drugs that's making billions upwards of dollars, if you was really sincere about what you saying, just say no. All the money you get from any type of drug deal, you'll put it towards a center for people to go to or something like that.
Yep.
Like all the money you get, but they don't do it.
And why would they do that? Because that's gonna cancel out their money. That's
reverse
counterproductive. Right. Go to Isaiah 28:12.
Yes, sir.
And then I want to move on because we got a special caller supposed to be calling in about 20-something minutes. I need to send that link to him. So send me the link, brother, so I can send it to him. Read that.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 28 and verse 12.
Read it out.
To whom he said, this is the rest wherewith ye may cause the weary to rest, and this is the refreshing, yet they would not hear.
This is what's gonna cause the weary to rest. It's this Bible. We looking for it in drugs. That's how powerful the devil is. That's how powerful the things that he's pushed on this earth is, to where we forgot our only solace, our only rest, our only comfort, which is the Bible. Now we call it religion. Some of us hate it. Some of us don't even want to read it. Some of us roll up the damn take a page and roll up a blunt with it and smoke it.
Some of them tear it and use it for period blood.
Exactly. Put it in. Put period cloth or what they call it, tampon. Like Beyonce said, she a demon. Right. You understand? Go to those images that I sent you from COINTELPRO real quick. So let me show y'all this. I sent some images from COINTELPRO. I want y'all to see this. We ain't going to commercial break. We're gonna just go straight through. It's some images that I showed you. Could you pull it up for me? Thank you, brothers. All right, let's read this. It says memorandum. This is the COINTELPRO. This is public record. You can get this off Google. Zoom in.
This is a memorandum, Black Nationalist Movement in the United States, Racial Matters, issued 11/8/68. The Bureau has noted an increase in the establishment of black extremist bookstores, which represent propaganda outlets for revolutionary and hate publications and cultural centers for extremism. Each office should locate and identify black extremists and or African-type bookstores in its territory and open separate, discrete investigations on each to determine if it is extremist in nature. Advised under this caption by 11/8/68 of the investigations instituted in accordance with these instructions. The investigation should determine the identities of the owners, whether it is a front for any group or foreign interest, whether individuals affiliated with the store engage in extremist activities, the number, type, and source of books and materials on sale, the store's financial condition, its clientele, and whether it is used as headquarters or a meeting place.
Damn.
Submit results on the individual caption in form suitable for dissemination, along with a recommendation as to whether additional investigation is warranted.
Go ahead.
Investigation should be instituted on new stores when open, and you should recognize the excellent target these stores represent for penetration by racial sources.
So they had it set up to where when we would set up bookstores in our neighborhoods that would sell books like Willie Lynch letter, things of that nature,
right?
Curious arts of the black, things of that, you know what I'm saying, black and curious arts or Western art, things like that. Things about, who we are, ancient African history. They would sit around and say, who opened that store? Oh, it was one of the Black Panthers. They opened the store. That might be a headquarters. We need to infiltrate that store.
Right.
And they would watch it. They said they would watch their financial records. Why? To see if they trying to skip out on paying the government taxes so they can shut them down.
Right.
Why wouldn't you want black folks to read? That's some power right there. Right. I don't want y'all to read, so let's try to shut down any type of recollection of who they are. They might stumble upon it. It's power in reading. Give me that in 1 Maccabees 1:56.
Yes, sir.
It's power in reading. They know that. They said, look, we got to stop these niggas from reading.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 56. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law, which they found, they burnt them with fire.
Go ahead.
And wheresoever was found with any the book of the testament.
What he doing? What he going to do with the book of the testament? He going to read it. And he going to keep what's within it. Go ahead.
Or if any consented to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death.
The king's commandment was that you should die if you was caught reading the Bible. That's how important reading is. That's why the first 200 years over here in America, they said, do not let them read. And if you do let them read very subtle, small things. And sit over their shoulder to watch what they're reading. I forgot what movie that was when the little boy read. And it was a TV show, actually. And some of the Edomites like, man, you playing a dangerous game teaching him to read like that. And he said, hey, you understand what you read? He's like, no, sir. Yeah. He's like, but he went back. He could quote the Bible to the people, to the slaves.
Yeah. Was that Birth of a
That
Nation?
was a Birth of a Nation.
No, that wasn't Birth of a Nation. That wasn't Birth of a Nation. It was a different one. Okay. Birth of a Nation, that's different. But I know what you're saying. I'm saying Birth of a Nation. I forgot what the name of the show was. I forgot what show it was. It was one of those slave shows. But that's what it showed on there. So they understand that. Now give me Revelation 1 and 3.
Revelation chapter 1 and verse 3. Blessed is he that readeth.
Blessed is he that readeth. Go ahead.
And they that hear the words of this prophecy.
And they that hear the words of this prophecy. They that hear the words of this prophecy. Go ahead.
And keep those things which are written therein.
Hell on Wheels. That's the name of the show. Hell on Wheels, or the movie. Captain Zacardis, thank you, Cap. So Hell on Wheels, if we could find that clip, that'd be great. Hell on Wheels is the name. Okay, but read it again.
Yes, sir.
Blessed is he that readeth.
Blessed is he that readeth. And they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand.
For the time is at hand. So the Bible says, blessed when you read, because there's power in reading. I understand brothers don't like to read. You understand? Well, now if you have a hard time reading, you can always listen to the Bible app and follow along. That'll help you read because you'll be able to understand what the words are saying or how to pronounce them. But you gotta love to read. It's power in that. The white man know it. That's why he kept you from doing it. That's why he wanted to destroy your bookstores during the time of the Black Panthers in the 1960s and so on and so forth. Then after that, that's when the drug epidemic came in place. So he took away us being able to read about our history, and then he gave us drugs. Right. Replaced reading with drugs.
That thing deep.
Damn.
I forget the town, but I think it was in the Carolinas where the brother had the newspaper store. I don't know if you remember that or not. But he had a newspaper store, and he was pushing out something opposite of what Esau wanted to push out, and they destroyed that thing.
Yeah, they're going to cast that thing down. Hey, go to the next one. Go to the next one. The next photo that I had, that screenshot I made that I sent you. Go to the very next one. It was right next to that one. Yes, sir. Let's look at that real quick. All right, let's read that.
Yes, sir. Article to SEC Albany, Counterintelligence Program, Black Nationalist Hate Groups. Nationalist activity and interested in counterintelligence to coordinate this program. This agent will be responsible for the periodic progress letters being requested. But each agent working this type of case should participate in the formulation of counterintelligence operations. Goals: for maximum effectiveness of the counterintelligence program and to prevent wasted effort, long-range goals are being set. Number 1, prevent the coalition of militant black nationalist groups. In unity, there is strength, and truism that is no less valid for all its triteness. An effective coalition of black nationalist groups might be the first step toward a real What's that? Mau Mau in. I can't read it.
Mau Mau in. I don't know.
Azarean. The beginning of
it's like say America.
Okay, American. The beginning of a true black revolution.
So it said prevent the coalition of militant black national groups. In unity there is strength. Go back. I was reading. In unity there is strength. You understand that? They understand that. So they had to do what? Infiltrate. So discord in it.
Right.
That's the same thing they doing today, brothers. That's the same thing they doing today. Sending spies amongst us. Same thing they did during the time of Christ to try to destroy what we building. The same thing, and that's power to do that with no fault in it. You know what I'm saying? So what? We send some counterintelligence amongst you. So what? What you gonna do? Right? Watch the next one. Go to line 2.
Number 2. Prevent the rise of a Messiah.
Prevent the rise of a Messiah. What kind of Messiah? A black Messiah.
Right.
Go ahead.
Who could unify and electrify the militant black nationalist movement. Malcolm X might have been such a Messiah. He is the martyr of the movement today. Martin Luther King, Stokely Carmichael, and Elijah Muhammad all aspire to this position. Elijah Muhammad is less of a threat because of his age. King could be a very real contender for this position should he abandon his supposed obedience to white liberal doctrines.
Wait a minute. Hold up now.
Ooh, damn.
That's heavy.
Damn.
They said, look, we got Malcolm X out the way. He was the number one candidate for that.
Right.
Malcolm X was electrifying in how he spoke, bro. He can move your spirit in how he spoke. That's the spirit of God in that brother. He's just in the wrong doctrine.
Right.
But and I know he had been studying with the brothers. If he had fully took grasp of us being the Israelites, they knew the kind of spirit he had on him. So get that Negro out the way. Martin Luther King is a prime candidate if he were to abandon his supposed obedience to white liberal doctrines of nonviolence and embrace black nationalism. If he ever become solely for his people and speak out against us, he a perfect candidate.
Right.
That's some heavy stuff that we reading right now.
He almost got there.
Right.
And then immediately afterwards,
they took
he
him
was
out.
neutralized.
They had to neutralize him, bro. That's power. Satan said, I gotta remove this nigga.
Right.
He got too much power in his voice. They gonna hear him and say, you know what? Let's follow him.
Can I get a quick recap?
Yeah, go ahead.
I go to 1 Corinthians 4. 1 Corinthians 4. Now I just want the first part. Let's count one, finish it out.
Yes, sir.
1 Corinthians 4 and 9.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 9.
Bring it out.
For I think that God has set forth us the apostles last.
So, like you said, they had all that figured out because there was one guy. Like, those was one man. But, you know, Cap spoke on how, like, Malcolm X was electrifying and all that. Like, like you get electrification, like, every day, you know what I'm saying, from the Israelites.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like Cap, you yourself, you know what I'm saying? It's like the I don't even know the word for it, but it's like people are drawn to this truth.
Yeah.
And like you said, through the Most High raising up our leadership, you know, like Malcolm X, like that's every day. It's going on every day. People
Every
get
day now.
electrified.
Right, every day now, right.
In every neighborhood.
And it's a lot of us.
And there's a lot of us.
It's not
doing
one of us.
right.
You kill one of us and then, okay, well, they done.
Right.
It's too many.
Right.
That's scary. That's worse than Malcolm X now. Because now it's too many of us. You know what I'm saying? You finished that? You finished what you wanted on?
I just wanted that.
Okay. Go to real quick, go to Matthew 2 and 7.
Yes, sir.
Same thing they did during the time of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and so on and so forth. They did it during the time of Christ. Okay? Matthew 2, read 7 and 8 real quick.
Yes, sir. Matthew chapter 2 and verse 7.
Bring it out.
Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search diligently for the young child.
So scoop up to verse 2.
Yes, sir. Verse 2. Saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews?
Christ. Go ahead.
For we have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him.
Keep reading. Watch this.
When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him.
It said he was troubled. He was troubled that a king was being born of the Jews because he was the client king of Rome. What you mean the king of the Jews? I'm the king of the Jews right now. So you mean to tell me that if when he grows up, he gonna trump my descendants after me?
Right.
Hell no. Matter of fact, let me set up a plan. You know what? Let me know where he is. When y'all find him, let me know where he is. I would like to come worship him too. That's all propaganda. This is the sound. I'm telling you, they infiltrate us. They want to join our movements. That's to neutralize us. You understand? Go to verse 13.
Yes, sir. Verse
Second
13.
time.
Verse 13.
Come on.
And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream.
Go ahead.
Saying, arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt.
And do what?
And flee into Egypt.
And flee into Egypt. Why?
And be thou there until I bring thee word. For Herod will seek the young child to destroy
So
him.
the angel revealed the secret plot of Herod. The COINTELPRO was that same type of secret plot.
Right.
Message.
But the angel wasn't there to let us know what they was doing because that movement wasn't of God. Black Panthers, that's not of God.
Right.
The Christian church, that's not of God. Even the Nation of Islam with electrifying speaker like Malcolm X, that still wasn't of God. The movement that was of God was sparking up at that time. It had been around, but it was sparking up at that time by a man named Abba Bivens, you understand, who started to teach, and then you had all these brothers that started joining. We're going to show them brothers here in a minute, too, the history of the Israelites and how we came to where we are today. But Herod had a plot to kill the young child. It had to be revealed by the angel of God. Keep reading.
Yes, sir. Verse 14.
Skip down to verse of 16.
Verse 16. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men,
because they didn't show up, because the angel told them to depart. Go ahead.
Was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem.
So he got so pissed off, he said, you know what, they don't want to tell me where he at? I'll just kill all the children around that age. What that sound like? That's abortions.
Right.
That's drugs, putting drugs in our communities. These women smoke and do drugs while they pregnant. You understand? Throwing us in jail. Pushing homosexuality into the communities. That's what that all is. The same plot. That's the power of the devil. Go ahead.
And in all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under.
He ain't give a damn. Go ahead.
According to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men.
And according to the time, he said, you know what? Like you say on Joseph Dream. Like, when was that? 2 years ago is when that. Matter of fact, kill everybody that's 2, because he had to be born around that time. But that's, bro, come on. It was a massacre, bloodbath. You understand? And operates to the Most High leadership personified it and showed it perfectly in the movie Joseph Dream, because people don't see it as that. They just read on past that. People were being killed with killing babies.
Right.
Killing whole babies, like, to hell with it. So that spirit of propaganda and all those things that you see they pushing, they've been doing that. Been doing it. You understand? Now, read Revelation 12 and 3 through 5 real quick. We had a clip I wanted to show, but I don't know if we're going to be able to get it before our special guest calls in.
You said Revelation 12, 3 through 5?
Yes, sir.
The book of Revelations, chapter 12 and verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven. And behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head.
That's the white man. Go ahead.
And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven.
Judah, Benjamin, Levi. Go ahead.
And did cast them to the earth.
It mean captivity. Go ahead.
And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born.
Go ahead.
And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne.
So that great red dragon is Herod. That dragon is Herod that stood before the woman as soon as her child be born. That was when he was trying to kill Christ. Now notice in the prophecy says that child was destined to rule all nations. He's going to be the king of the Jews. When you the king of the Jews, that means you the king of the world. When you the king of the Israelites, that means you the king of the world, because the Bible said, go to 1 Chronicles real quick, 28 and 5.
Yes, sir.
I got to pull it just to give you the understanding. When you the king of the Jews, you the king of the earth, because the Jew or the Israelites are God's kingdom on earth. You understand? When we in rulership, that's God's kingdom on earth. Can you read it?
Yes, sir. The book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 28 and verse 5.
Come on.
And of all my sons, for the Lord hath given me many sons.
The Lord gave me many sons. This is King David speaking. Go ahead.
He hath chosen Solomon, my son.
Go ahead.
To sit upon the throne of the kingdom of the Lord over Israel.
The throne of the kingdom of the Lord over Israel. So when you sit as the king of the Jews, which is what, or the king of the Israelites is what Christ was destined to sit, you sit on top of this whole earth. Because to be the king of the Jews, meaning we over all nations.
That's right.
And they understood, Herod had enough understanding. If he the king of the Jews, he the king of the world, he gonna sit up, they gonna kill him and kill all of them like him.
Right.
Stop the rise of a black Messiah.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road. Purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.